Why don't people look out of train windows anymore? This is a question that I've been dying to answer, and thankfully, with my latest rides on Amtrak, I was able to form some conclusions and make this video covering this exact topic. During the last 3 months, I've made some round trips on Amtrak to and from Washington, D.C., with the latest being the stuff of nightmares. While going down to DC, I rode Amtrak 55, affectionately known as the Vermonter. But with this most recent trip, I rode Amtrak 184 back instead of Amtrak 146 in May. Most of the content here in this video is from my May 22nd birthday trip on Amtrak 55, where I recorded with my Camp Snap 8 camera expecting to use the footage for a music video. So the video is from May, and the experiences are from my latest trip. Yeah. Anyway, for my most recent run in July, Amtrak 55 was severely delayed, pulling into Stamford Station over an hour and 15 minutes late, so there weren't that many other people in my car, with most people jumping ship for the earlier train, Amtrak 137, which got filled up real fast. Alas, Amtrak 184 was a completely different story on the way back from Washington, D.C., with it being almost completely sold out. After getting on at Union Station in Washington, D.C., I made a pilgrimage to the very first car to pick out my favorite seat, as the rest of the train filled up fast just before departure. This claiming of my favorite coveted four-seater landed me a rather unwelcome snotty guest moments before the train pulled away from the platform. A 20-something girl who had the textbook example of resting bitch face with an attitude to match. Now, as we embarked on our journey, I observed her bitchy behavior and made some key observations about her and the other passengers to answer the question of why people don't look out train windows anymore. Since smartphones have dumbed us down to idiocracy levels, everyone is on their phone, slumped over, endlessly scrolling away. And that's exactly what Little Miss Resting Bitch Face did the entire ride from Washington, D.C. to Philadelphia's 30th Street station, only looking up to quickly glance over as we crossed one of the most spectacular river crossings of the Susquehanna at Perryville, Maryland. This is also symptomatic of so many others aboard the same train that I saw doing the exact same thing as I walked back to the cafe car to buy some overpriced sodas. But even if people were able to rip themselves away from that oh-so-addicting magic rectangle of easy-to-consume content, there really wouldn't be anything that interesting to keep them looking out the window because even though my face is pretty much pressed against the window the entire ride, at least for the stretch from Stamford, Connecticut through New York City to Washington, D.C. and back, the scenery absolutely sucks. See, for me, I'm a nerd, so I enjoy all of the urban decay, random MOW sightings, and stored stuff on side tracks. I enjoy taking photos of a lot of those things just sitting there, but I know that the general public could care less about seeing the shittiest part of a city situated along the right-of-way. Couple that with the fact of too much of the Northeast Corridor is socked in with trees on both sides of the tracks, ultimately limiting your view to see the scenery just beyond the tree line. Alas, even if the subpar scenery did manage to keep your focus away from your phone, seeing out of the window is such a stupid struggle on Amtrak, as somehow they've made that overly difficult because one major difficulty that I have wanting to fully enjoy my ride on Amtrak is trying to see out of the windows that are just as dirty as my mind. There seems to be years and years of amassed dirt strewn all over every single window. Honestly, I'm surprised that not one archaeologist has decided to study the historical significance of the dirt devouring every single Amfleet car. I mean, it's gotten so bad that a lot of the somewhat new Phase 7 cars have now become one with the filth-covered and worn-out original Phase 6 cars. Is it really that much of a hassle for Amtrak to take some pride in their rider satisfaction by washing their equipment? No, I guess not, because you're just solely focused on kissing the president's ass by putting his name on a train. And speaking of rude, narcissistic assholes... Now, I want to make this very clear. I hate people, even though, without them, the passenger trains that I foam over wouldn't run. But I hate people using the same space as me, like in a busy passenger train, that are a total inconvenience. I ride the train to get away from it all and have just a little peace of mind and relax while somebody else does the hard work in the cab operating the train. So I really just don't want to deal with all these entitled people like Miss Resting Bitch Face not moving her bag, blocking my hallway access from my seat, even though I asked nicely if she wanted me to move her bag to the overhead rack, only having her retort that it wasn't bothering her by showcasing how her facial expressions matched her personality perfectly. It's my guess that she's not used to guys being nice to her without wanting some ulterior motive in return. See, whoever sits with you along your journey is a total crapshoot of crappy idiots who oftentimes can derail your trip. Honestly, most people are like ugly, disruptive rain clouds, because once they go away, you'll have a better day. See, the Grinch had it right. He hated people more than he actually hated Christmas, which is fair, and I get where he's coming from after enduring this nightmare ride on Amtrak Train 184. But it was never like this, and it's only gotten worse because... At some point, Amtrak took a policy from the airlines that have always nipped at its heels and adapted the notion of trying to cram as many passengers into its failing late and crappy trains as possible. Alas, I know I'm going to get flack for fighting over and claiming a four-seater all to myself, but that brings me to my next point. I'm 6'3" with long legs, so I need the extra room not to have my knees by my ears. Maybe if Amtrak seating didn't suck for tall people, then I wouldn't have to hog a whole four-seater to ride comfortably. Hopefully, with these new Aero train sets, the legroom will be much better and cater to the taller clientele that ride in the cramped conditions on the nearly 50-year-old Amfleets currently, all of which seem to have a slightly stupid layout that irks me right in the OCD, with the seating window layout inconsistency pissing me off the most. I specifically hate how some seats are stuck with the dreaded no man's land between two windows. See, that's the worst seat to be stuck with, besides being by the bathroom, because people are often too idiotic or entitled to close the damn door, like they've never listened to Panic at the Disco's most famous song. Although the last 5 issues happened during the day, the next grievance that I have involves the cover of darkness. Specifically at night, you can't even look out of the windows of any of the Amfleet cars because the reflections of the interior lights make it impossible to see anything outside. Couple that with the fact that the windows are already coated in a thick layer of dirt, and it's made doubly worse. Both factors combined are guaranteed to have people completely disinterested in looking outside the windows and have them glued to their phones or on their PC. And I see this every single time an Amtrak train goes by the Sono Switch Tower Museum in South Norwalk, Connecticut. Everyone's got their face illuminated by the artificial glow of their smartphone or PC screens in every single window, with only the engineer, hopefully, looking out of their window, fully paying attention to what's going on outside ahead of the train. Honestly, I'm sad that I missed the golden age of American passenger rail travel before that was ruined by the car and the plane. Because right now it seems like we're in the participation award era of American passenger rail travel, akin to being barely passable or downright awful, like that of the slacker college student's hastily finished last-minute 11th hour assignment submitted just under the wire of the due date. Anyway, click the button and subscribe. Thanks for watching.